And with that, the 2024 home portion of the season, regular-wise, has ended in a positive way for the Phillies with a 9-6 victory over the Cubs tonight. Thus, ending the 2024 home slate at 54-27, dominant 54-27 as the Phillies continue their home dominance this year. They actually improved on their home record from last year, which was 49-32. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Phightins Final here on the Edge of Philly Sports. With your boy, MattyB, on the call, and I have the honor of broadcasting the final home regular season game of 2024, and a game where the Phillies also clinch a bye. So they will now definitely have, some time to think about things, as they've earned the first round bye into the NLDS. Now, we don't know if it's as a first or second seed yet. There's still a race going on for that. And we could talk about the uncertainty of this team sitting for a week as they try to kind of continue to work out their problems. But tonight, we got a victory. It was not the cleanest victory, and it wasn't the most technically sound victory, but it was a victory nonetheless. We got the hitting where we needed it. We got the pitching in spurts. The bullpen came up and locked things down somewhat, and the Phillies handled the Cubs tonight 9-6. Let me remind everybody here on the Phightins Final that, or everybody that's listening here on the Phightins Final, that everything on this network is brought to you by the good folks over at Cherry Injury Law, Philly Sports Trips, Dolan's, and Sherry's Tickets. I think I got them all. And as I said, home finale of 2024. It seems weird to me that we've gotten to this point. It's bittersweet. We all, everybody, you play baseball for the opportunity to play in October, but in March, you don't look at it as, okay, October's next week. It's 6 months or so from now. And, I remember the opening game. I remember it being rained out because of the threat of rain. It actually never rained a drop that day, but they had a really wonky opening series against the Braves, lost 2 out of 3. Pitching was terrible. Hitting was not good at all in that series. And it's just kind of bittersweet for me to sit here and now say we have just completed the final home series of the season. Again, the eye on the prize in October, but we're getting, we're starting to close things down for the 2024 MLB season, baseball as well. And it's a little bittersweet, man. It really is. We spent a lot of time on this show throughout the baseball season, bringing you the coverage. And now it's ending. It's ending, and it's we have less games to play, regardless of how far we go in the playoffs than we've already played. But yeah, so the Phillies tonight, 9-6 winners, finished the season 54-27 at home. Tonight was also their 27th series win of the year, as they dispatched the Cubs somewhat easily. Yeah, let's head over to the message board. Clap your hands, Marshawn. And we're definitely going to talk about all that tonight, right? And as we move forward through the weekend series against the Nationals, and then we wrap things up for the regular season, obviously we're going to have a lot of time now with the bye to talk about what we can expect from this team going forward. But you got to, I guess, look at what's in front of you right now, and the Phillies handled their business tonight in a positive way, and they won the game 9-6. They're still giving up too many home runs as a pitching staff, and there are still some signs of concern for this team. But they're doing what they got to do. Win number 94 now in the season. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Phightins. Woody says Phillies get the bye. They do. And how does everybody think about that? It was inevitable. I don't think the Phillies were going to fall out of that number 1 or number 2 spot. They've been holding it all season. I didn't necessarily think they would find their way down to the 3. But in the back of my mind, and I know in the back of a lot of other Phillies fans' minds, I'm a little concerned about the bye. I'm concerned about a whole 5-6 day period of time where this team, who has not been able to be consistent all season, is now going to have to sit and then come out and be consistent in a playoff series for a 5-game set. So I don't know. I know people are like, well, they need rest. Yeah, well, they could get the rest that, if they would have handled their business throughout earlier portions of the season, i.e. against the Mets. We could have gotten some rest this week, maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know. But a bye is a bye. Does Estevez scare you as a closer? They seem to hit him as hard. Just saying. He doesn't. Is he as okay? I guess the better question would be, what we gave up to get him, was it better than what we got? Sir Anthony wasn't doing anything for me as a closer. Soto wasn't doing anything for me in that role either. So maybe the better question is he better than what we had? And I think he's better than what we had. I'm not saying that he's the best, and I'm not saying that we don't definitely we still got a problem there. And again, this bullpen by committee, some nights he'll close, some nights he won't. How does that make people feel as well? Which you already know my take on that. But the bullpen is, and I'll take a page out of Big Al's book. The bullpen is what it is, and which is a terrible, analysis of it, but it is. That's because you don't know what you're going to get night after night, and ultimately, is that what a world champion is? Is not knowing what you're going to get out of your bullpen night to night, or who you're going to get out of your bullpen, and what position you're going to get them out of the bullpen. Is that what a world champion is? And you can say the same thing with the offense. You don't know who you're getting night to night in terms of the way they're going to hit. Is that a world championship? And again, that's what it really boils down to me right now. It doesn't matter to me about the division or one overall or any of that. It just matters to me to win a World Series. And yeah, you want to put yourself in the best position to do that. But is this team capable of doing that? And we're going to find out here soon enough. But yeah. Yeah. And now we're having some conversations back and forth. That's cool. I feel like a winner after that game, Mike. Yeah. Me too, buddy, but too many runs for a bad team. They have some good players over there. Yeah, they do. All right, let's head over to the box score. Phillies, or the Cubs on the night would go with 6 runs, 9 hits, no errors. Phillies, 9 runs, 13 hits, and 2 errors. 2 more errors for the Phillies tonight. Offensively, the Phillies had some big-time production from some big-time people. Bryson Stott and Brandon Marsh both chipped in with 3-hit games. Or I'm sorry, Bryson Stott had a 3-hit game. Castellanos had a 3-hit game. Stott also drove in 2 RBIs. Nick Castellanos with the home run tonight. Phillies hit 3 home runs as a team. Gave up 2 more home runs, though, to the Cubs. Again, not necessarily a great team, but they gave up 2 more home runs as they continues to, and it was this pitching situation with home runs in the second half of the season has got me very worried. With the 2 home runs the Phillies surrendered tonight, they have now surrendered 114 home runs as a staff in the second half of the year. That's based off of 64 they surrendered in the first half. So that's got me extremely concerned. I mean, we're looking at almost half as much, or half as more, half more. So that has me very concerned. But as well as offense for the Phillies, Turner chipped in with 2 hits, a homer, and RBI. Bryce was 1 for 4 tonight. Castellanos with the 3-hit night. Stott with the 3-hit night. Still batting him in that 5-hole. Yeah, again, I just don't. I don't like it. Brandon Marsh had a 3 RBI night, a 1-hit night, but a 3 RBI night. Cody Clemens chipping in with the homer as well, 1 for 4. Austin Hayes 0 for 4 with the strikeout as he battles his way back from injury. For the Cubs, Swanson with an RBI, 1 hit, he had a walk and 2 strikeouts. Cody Bellinger had a hit and an RBI. Nico Homer was absolutely the offensive stalwart for the Cubs tonight, 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs, 2 home runs as he beat up on the Phillies pitching. Crow Armstrong was 0 for 4, good young looking center fielder for the Cubs. We'd love to have him here. Pitching wise, Chris Sanchez was a little shaky, 4.5 innings. A lot of shaky, really. Let's call it what it is. 4.5 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs. 3 of them are earned. He walked 1. Struck out 4, gave up a home run, but also dealt 94 pitches in 4.5 innings. That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible as he labored. And, obviously the pitching is going to be a major question or a major discussion point heading into the postseason. Ruiz came in and pitched an inning in that 3rd, gave up a hit, an earned run, struck out and a homer. Kerkering, who gets a hold. Ruiz actually gets the win in this. Hoffman also pitched well coming out of the pen, and Estevez shakily went through the 9th inning, did give up an earned run, and made people sweat a little bit out there. But he does clamp it down for the Phillies. For the Cubs, Assad gets the loss. 4 innings, 4 1/3, 8 hits, 8 runs. They were all earned. 3 walks and 3 strikeouts. Give up 3 homers. Thompson, Roberts, and Person as well for the Cubs pitched for them. The Phillies pitching staff walked only 2 tonight and walked 3 times themselves. And Phillies struck out 8 times, and the Cubs struck out 7. Other offensive ins and outs for the Phillies. They left 6 on, were 3 for 9 with runners in scoring position, and had 1 stolen base. They're not grounded in any more double plays, which is a good sign. So for the Cubs, they left 6 on and were 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position, and also had 1 stolen base. And there you have 9-6 Phillies winners. And now we're getting through. Now it's just a matter of trying to catch the Dodgers. I mean, again, this is going to be the big selling point heading into the weekend. What do the Phillies do here? They've already secured that first round bye, so they can't be any lower than a 2. Does Rob Thompson go after potential? Does he go after the league, or does he start the vacation early, or does the week bye, prompt the Phillies to push hard through this National Series? The Phillies regulars play tonight, and they played pretty much all weekend with the exception of a lot of them played last night too. What does Rob Thompson do here heading into the National Series? Does he start resting people now, or does he use the fact that he's got a bye coming up and push hard for the number 1 seed? I mean, hey, we got the bye as it is. Already got the bye, so you might as well just push hard for the National League as well. But so you can secure home field advantage throughout the playoffs. But we're definitely going to be interesting to see how that plays out over the final 3 games of the season, starting on Friday. But scoring summary, we'll head back over to that. So it's kind of how the scoring went down tonight for the Phillies and Cubs. The Phillies would get things rolling in the first. Trey Turner would lead it up. Well, not lead it off, but he would hit a home run, making it 1-0. But then Stott would double in Castellanos and Harper. Phillies would have a big 3-run first inning. Then they would add on to that in the third with the Castellanos home run to make it 4-0. But then here comes the Cubs back in the bottom of the 4th. Horner would homer and a 3-run shot to kind of erase that 4-1 lead, making it a very interesting 4-3 deficit. Cody Clemens would then homer in the bottom of the 4th to make it 5-3. Bellinger would knock in Swanson to make it 5-4. Marsh would then double in Castellanos and Real Muto and Stott as he cleared the bases in the 5th to make it 8-4 Phillies. Another homer in the 6th by the Cubs, make it 8-5. Real Muto would single in Stott to make it 9-5 in the 7th. And then Swanson would get the Braves one last little bit of runs there in the 9th, knocking in Alcantara to make it 9-6. And that's how the Phillies and the Cubs would score tonight. Phillies, again, as I mentioned, now 94-65 on the season, have now won 27 series in 2024. That's against 29 that they had in 2023. So they could win the National Series, but that would still make them one off of what they did in 2023. 14-9 for the month of September now, as they've guaranteed themselves another over 500 month. Me personally, I've now won my 30th game of the year as the host of this show. I'm 30-23, and I have 2 more, I think. One more left to do. Yeah, 1 more. So that's pretty good. Most wins of all the hosts. Most games, too. Again, stat numbers for the Phillies so far that are really kind of concerning. As I mentioned, 2 more home runs tonight. Phillies have now surrendered 114 in the second half. And that's never good. That's really never good. But and that's something the Phillies are going to have to look at. And that's something that we hopefully can get under control heading into the playoffs, because this is a stat that we're not used to seeing kind of tilted the other way. The Phillies as a team have hit 93 home runs in the second half, but they've surrendered 112. They hit 97 home runs in the second half. So their home run production is down a little bit, and their giving up home run production is through the friggin' roof. So, I don't know, man. There's a lot to be excited about, but there's still some things to be concerned about. 2 errors are not good. They can haunt a team as well as the walks. Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you give out free bases, it's not good. It's going to hurt a team, especially a team like the Phillies, who have been really prone to giving up the home run ball. So, pitching is my major concern heading into the postseason. It really is. I think the offense. I mean, we see what the offense can do if they can finally string it together, and everybody can be consistent, and everybody's on the same page. They're pretty much unstoppable. If they get 3 or 4 guys going in the right direction, they seem to be pretty unstoppable too. It's going to come down for me to the pitching. The pitching and maybe the plate approach, as far as the offense goes. But the pitching to me is the number one concern I have heading into this offseason because I'm just not liking the depth. I'm not liking the overall performances of other than Wheeler. There's really nobody you can kind of grab onto and say, you know what? Yeah, let's ride him to a championship because everyone has shown very inconsistent moments throughout the season, more than they have shown consistent moments. And it's going to definitely be interesting to see as we move through the stretch here. Let's head over now to the Broad Street bottom line. Your Broad Street bottom line is this, that, there's been a lot of talk around town about this celebrating the NLCS or the NL East Championship. And I kind of agree with it. This is a team that's been put together for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to win a World Series. And, I'm not going to, listen, I'm not going to, is it eyebrow raising worthy? Maybe. Is it conversation worthy? No, it is what it is. Again, using an alism there. They deserve it's a long season. They go through a lot. The thing starts in January, essentially, when players start showing up in the Clearwater area and beginning really to kind of ramp up their off-season workouts. So it's a long season to get to that point, and why not blow off a little steam? But I'm just bringing that up because this has been a point of conversation. That's not my Broad Street bottom line. My Broad Street bottom line, again, centers around this game and centers around the offense. There's a magical thing with this team when these players are all starting to perform at their potential. You look at the way the offense, middle of the lineup specifically, again, they got to carry the day. You had Stott and you had Castellanos tonight pretty much doing that for the Phillies. They're providing that offense in the middle part of the lineup that allows the bottom part of the lineup to contribute when they can and not have the pressure of being the main contributors. And that's what happened tonight. You got some home run production down there from Clemens. You got a little bit more, consistent offense throughout the lineup because of what the middle portion of that lineup is. Is this a perfect lineup constructed wise? No. Bryson Stott is not a number 5 guy, and I think that's a mistake. And I hope that if he slips in the playoffs and he goes into a slump, I hope Rob Thompson moves him out of that spot before it's too late. And I hope he doesn't ride that loyalty thing for us right out of the playoffs, because I'm concerned with Stott batting 5th in the lineup in the playoffs. I'm very concerned about that. But tonight you saw it on full display, and you saw how it can be when it's all working. And it's a thing of beauty, and they banged out 9 runs. They needed more of those 9 runs than I thought they probably expected to need. And again, that goes back to the pitching issues. But offensively, when you can perform like this, offensively, when you can be consistent like this in the middle part of your lineup, and when you're getting the money production out of the people that you're paying it for, that's how you win world championships. And tonight, the Phillies, at least offensively, it's shown why, they're who they are, is because of the way they can do it. So that's my Broad Street bottom line, is get that consistent hitting from that part of the lineup, and everything else will fall into place. And that was brought to you by the good folks over at Dolan's at 24 East Sellers Ave in Ridley Park for Quizzo music, great times, and memorabilia giveaways. Head on down to Dolan's today and tell them the Phightins Phinal and MattyB sent you. Let's head around now to around the bases and check out some scores. All right, let's talk some games that are still actually currently being played. 7-1 Tigers. The story of 2024 in Major League Baseball is slowly turning into the Detroit Tigers. Have played themselves right into a playoff position. They're up 7-1 right now over the Rays in the bottom of the 8th. It is 8-3 Orioles over the Yankees at the end of the sixth. 6-1 Blue Jays over the Red Sox in the bottom of the seventh. In the top of the sixth, it is 3-2 White Sox as they try to avoid loss number 121 over the Angels in the bottom of the sixth. It is 3-3 Marlins and Twins, bottom of the fifth. 2-1 Cardinals over the Rockies in the bottom of the third. Starting here in a little bit, it's the Giants and the Diamondbacks, the Athletics and the Rangers, and the Padres and the Dodgers at 10-10. So keep an eye on that game. Of course, it has meaning for Phillies fans, Dodgers and Padres tonight. Games that have gone final, it was 8-1 Mariners over the Astros, 5-2 Guardians over the Reds, 2-1 Pirates over the Brewers, 3-0 Royals over the Nationals, and the Mets and Braves were rained out tonight at Citi Field. So they'll wait to try to get it on tomorrow. Probably a doubleheader, I'd imagine. Your standings check around right now. Obviously, the one race everybody's keeping their eyes on now is the Phillies and Dodgers. The Phillies are currently, at this point, I would imagine, tied at 94 and 65. They are now tied with the Dodgers for that top spot in the National League. Of course, Dodgers have yet to play tonight, but they could potentially find themselves a half a game up if the Dodgers don't win. So, the race continues for the number one overall seed in the National League. As far as that, we can take a look now at the American League. Let's look at some wild card races, I guess. We'll start with the American League. Baltimore, Kansas City, and then those pesky Detroit Tigers are currently your wild card teams in the American League. The Orioles have clinched a spot, so they are going to be one of those three. But Kansas City and Detroit are the other two. Minnesota 2 games behind the Tigers. Seattle 2 games behind the Tigers. And the Boston Red Sox 3.5, which are on life support. And, of course, the Rays started play tonight 5 games back. They're pretty much dead in the water. And everybody else in the American League is gone home for the winter. Over the National League, it's the Padres, Mets, Diamondbacks, and Braves that constitute the wild card race. The Padres are currently sitting in that top spot. They've clinched a wild card position. The Mets are tied right now with the Diamondbacks, and just a half a game separates the Mets and Diamondbacks from the Braves. So a lot of jockeying going on for those last 2 positions in the wild card of the National League. The Braves and Mets have a big-time thing going on here. They're playing each other. They're getting ready to start a series. And then, we'll see how that all works out. But the wild card race is still hot in both leagues. But there you go. Phillies, 94 now. 94 wins on the season. The Phillies will have the day off tomorrow as they prepare to head out to Washington for their final road trip of the 2024 regular season. Let's see if they've announced any starters for that series, who might be pitching. Ranger Suarez right now is slated to be your starter in the opening game against Trevor Williams, 6:45 in D.C. or in, Virginia. And here's your final weekend of regular season play, Phightins' final schedule. Mike has you on Friday. Al gets you on Saturday. And that's right, me and Al will get you on Sunday as we will start the transition now from the solo host roles to the dual host roles as we get ready for the playoffs. So me and Al will kind of kick all that off on Sunday when we host the final game of the season and the final post-game show of the season, as we'll mainly focus in on the playoffs. We might talk a little bit about the game, depending on what the race might be looking like in that game. So this could be the game that sends the Phillies to the number 1 seed or not, and we'll play it by ear, but we will be talking a heavy dose of Phillies preview, playoff preview. I had seen a bracket not too long ago when the Phillies, I think, were still in first place as the best record in the National League. And at that time, I'd have to go look for it, but I believe it was if the Phillies as that top seed at that time, of course, it would be they would play the winner of the Dodgers they would play the winner of the Padres Diamondback series. And again, things have changed. This is about 3 weeks ago. Some things have changed. So don't forget, baseball playoffs is bracketed. It's not straight, one plays 6, 2 plays 5, that kind of thing. It's bracketed. They put the 1 and 2 in a bracket with the other teams, and that's how they run through baseball. So it's going to be interesting to see who the Phillies will have as an opponent, and we'll know, of course, who the other series is in that bracket here by the end of the season. So definitely now we start looking at scoreboards, and we start looking and seeing, okay, we want the Diamondbacks, do we want the Mets, do we want the Padres, whatever. But it's going to be interesting, man. You wanted it, you got it, and it's here. So, but the Phillies' final game of the home regular season schedule, 9-6 winners. I finished the home regular season 54-27, 94th win of the season, 27th series win also of the season for the Phillies. They're 54-27, a better showing than last year's home record, which was 49-32. But with their 27 series wins, they can only get 28 if they beat the Nationals. They won 29 series in 2023, so I don't know, does it average out there? Who knows? But that's some of your numbers right here, and it's been fun. It's been fun going through the regular season with everybody. Again, I kind of went nostalgic a little bit there. I remember the first series of the season. It was a home set against the Braves. I believe me and Al had the call on the first game, and it just seems so long ago. And this is definitely what you've been waiting all summer for, but to me, it sucks because that means baseball's ending and the regular season is over, and you get spoiled when there's games on every day. You really do. And now we're going to have to start waiting for games, and then we're going to have to sit a week waiting for the playoffs. That's going to suck and all that. But the Phillies are slowly and surely making their way and putting themselves in the position that they're hoping to be in. And again, we still have that number 1 seed overall in the National League to play for. Half a game right now, or I guess I would imagine tied with the Dodgers as of right now, because the Dodgers don't play till later on tonight out there on the West Coast. So keep an eye on that game and keep an eye on everything else that's happening here on the Edge of Philly Sports this week. We got you covered everywhere. And don't forget also about our good friends over at Sherry's Tickets. Great prices, no hidden fees. What you see is what you pay. And save an additional 10% when you enter the promo code EOP10. That's at www.sherrystickets.com. And then, of course, the aforementioned Dave Cherry. For all your workman's compensation, motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or criminal law needs, give Dave a call at 610-565-0300, and he will take great care of you. And Philly sports trips as well, heading out to Tampa this weekend, I believe. And then the next really big one is the one going to MetLife Stadium in October, and I believe the EOP will be on that trip as well. So head over to EOP. Yeah, head over there too, but head over to the Philly sports trips tonight and see everything that they have to offer. Not just Eagles. They got you covered for the Phillies. They got you covered for the Union, Flyers, everything you want, they got you. So head over to Philly Sports Trips and check out all they have to offer. And that's going to check me out for the night. 9-6 Phillies win. Home season finale. Home regular season finale, as the Phillies will finish up their play at home. The home portion of the schedule is done. We have 3 more games remaining in the season, and that'll be at this weekend in D.C. against the Nationals. There's, once again, your Phightins final lineup for the weekend. Big Mike, Al, me and Al on Sunday that will finish everything up for you. And one final shout-out before I say goodnight tonight. Congratulations to Justin Crawford and Everson Castellano for winning the Paul Owens Awards for the best minor league position player and pitcher of the season. It's an award that's been handed out since 1986. It's been given to the top performers, both position player and pitcher, throughout the Phillies minor league systems throughout the year. Congratulations to both of them for earning those honors. Obviously, Justin Crawford, the center fielder of the future for this team. And a lot of talk was on him this year, especially as he was kind of moving his way through the lower levels of the minors. He finished things up at Double-A, but now will probably be a huge conversation piece heading into the camp next year, potentially what the Phillies might do with that center field position. If they don't sign any free agents, imagine that it's going to be in play. And then we here on the Phightins Final, I owe you a Down on the Phillies Farm season finale show as well, and we will actually recap some of the stuff this Sunday as I will close the close the books on the Phillies minor league season in 2024 by talking about each level's pitcher and position players of the year. And we'll go through that and talk a little bit about how these teams did, and just kind of, as I said, put a bow over the Phillies 24 minor league season. And it was fun covering that. It was actually a blast. But we'll talk again later. Don't forget, tomorrow, no Phillies game. We'll be back on Friday night for the Nationals series, final series of the season. Phillies win, close out their home schedule for the regular season. They clinch at least the number 2 seed. They can't go any lower than that, so they get the first round bye and home field advantage through the NLDS. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? You know, what are your concerns about all that? All those questions will be answered in time. Till we talk again on Friday. Go Phils.